Hello, I'm fenlandfisherman and welcome to another fishing video. Well, hello and welcome to another fishing video. Now, yet again you see me introducing another video, not on the riverbank, but in fact at my home. Unlike last couple of times, I'm no longer in Scarborough. I am in fact at home for the Christmas break. It's actually the last day of the break now, but I'm at home for the Christmas break. I thought I'd come into the fishing shed because I thought it was probably a bit more appropriate for introducing a fishing video than doing it in my bedroom or my office. So here we are, anyway, surrounded by the relevant attire. But pretty much this video is just an accumulation of footage which I gained from my French river trip this year. Now, I wasn't ever going to upload the video until I started looking back through the files a couple of days ago. Now, the reason for that really was that I managed to lose one of my memory cards containing the vast majority of the footage from the trip while I was out there. And the second reason was that sadly we had a death in the family, which meant we had to come back early from a holiday, meaning a lot of the fishing which we wanted to get done, especially on the Dron, which on the second week we didn't get done. Obviously that wasn't the priority was that we got back home. Now, so that means the only footage you're going to see is that from the river lot. Just to let you know, I did have a fish out of the river Dron, a nice carp, about 9-10 pounds, really good fun, as well as some smaller carp and things like that. But the footage you're going to be seeing is from the river lot. Now, in that footage you'll see me going after predominantly barbel, although I had targeted myself towards river carp and catfish mainly, but you'll see all that through the video. Now we're going to pick up the video with me leaving the UK on my way to France, on my way to the lot. But before we get to that, I just thought I'd quickly show you the baits and things that I was using, simply because I lost that memory card, you're not going to be able to see it in the video. Right, let's have a quick look. Now, the main bait which I've been using, like I've been using at home as well, was conjunction, here it is, of the oily bag mix from CC Moore in the feeder, in the bags I was using. The fishing's going crazy on that. Along with, just give me a sec just to get it out, pop for you. Obviously Triple X, here's a pop-ups as an example. Some more bottom baits for you as well. There you go there. So the Odyssey Triple X 15mm and 18mm was really doing the job for me out in France. I was really happy with it. The first time I've been using the bait as well, and it worked a treat straight away, as you'll be able to see soon in a minute. The rig I was using though was just a normal simple rig, 2-ounce inline pear lead, with about 5 inches of trickster heavy, with a size 10 mugger with a little run ring on it. And I was just having, like I said, a 15 or 18mm Odyssey boilie. Obviously, if I was having a longer hair for the cats and stuff, I was either upgrading to a heavier hook, like a choddy or something, or I was still using the mugger just with a longer hair. They were the only things I was doing. The only things I was changing at the holiday were the hooks and the hair length. The actual tackle and everything was remaining the same. You know, I was using 15 pound Hydro Tough line along with, as my main line, along with, you know, like I said, the Trickster Heavy as my hook link material. But apart from that, there are no other changes involved. That's all the rig bits you really need to know. If you want to see the actual rigs I was using, they're exactly the same as what I have been using for my carp fishing. So if you look back at some of my carp videos which I've uploaded just before I started coming to Scarborough and things, you'll see in detail the rig I've been using. So yeah, that's the rig, that's the bait I was using. Like I said, very simple, very normal for me. So anyway, let's just get on with the fishing and have a look at the video. 200 miles later, you join me here on the banks of the River Lot in France. I'm only here for a week. I'm then going off to the River Dron for the second week of the 2-week holiday. So I'm here for a week. I'm just going to be fishing for literally anything I can get. The house is literally about 100 metres down the road from the river where I am now, so absolutely perfect. I'll be hopefully come down here for plenty of early morning and evening sessions, but I just thought I'd come down now for a few hours in mid-afternoon, only the first proper day we're here, just to see what the river's like, and I must admit it looks amazing. Let's just hope we can get a few bites. However, as I always say, you know, with these French fishing holidays and fishing holidays in general, this isn't an out-and-out fishing holiday. I am here for my family holiday, so you know, I'm not going to be able to fish seriously. I haven't got all the gear, but I've got all the main basic gear that I need to catch fish. Anyway, let's see if we can catch a few fish. There we go, first fish of the holiday, first fish of the lot. Beautiful, beautiful little barbel. Taken on 2 15mm odysseys. Lovely fish, making some really odd noises, but what a beautiful little fish. Right, let's slip her back. I don't have to keep Barbel out of the water for too long. Let's put her back. Well, there you are, second fish now. Would you believe this? Smallest ever barbel. I doubt you believe me when I told you that took 2 15mm boilies. Well, I don't know how we're going to try and push through to get the carp out of here, but if a barbel like this would take 2 15mm boilies, I dread to think what I need for the carp. Anyway, what a lovely, lovely looking little fish, absolutely pristine. Let's slip this one back. Well, there we go. I've just snuck down here for a lovely early morning session. It's just gone about 6 o'clock in the morning French time. And yesterday I was told that there weren't meant to be any barbel in this stretch. But would you believe it? Rod just roared off. I've got a lovely, lovely little barbel. Not a big fish, but bigger than any of the ones I had yesterday. Fought really well, as all barbel do. So you go, really long, pristine French barbel. Now I really couldn't think of anything better to be doing on a morning like this. The sun's just coming up now, the river is giving off that lovely layer of mist, and it just looks absolutely stunning this morning, and I've been rewarded by an equally stunning fish. What a beautiful, beautiful fish. Right, let's put it back. As I just said with that fish, I've just come down here for an early morning session. It's the day after the first day, so it's my second day now. Literally yesterday I just come down here for an afternoon just to see what it's like. I thought it was going to be a lot harder than what it was. You know, it's a really big river. I didn't expect the fish to be held up like they were, but I had put a bit of bait in the night before when I arrived and in the morning and things, so hopefully the fish are getting to know this as a bit of a feeding spot. But yeah, I expected it to be a lot harder than what it was, and I expected the fish to be predominantly carp and catfish, because that's what it says it's known for around here. And my dad has seen a very big catfish top, and well, it is well, very well known for the catfish here. So we're going to go to the supermarket today and buy some dead fish and some sardines and stuff, and I might do into the night for the cats. That's a nice thing about this stretch, you can night fish it, unlike most stretches river in France. You always tend to get little patches along a river where you can night fish it, and this is one of them. So I did into the night last night, and the breamer followed me all the way from the Cambridgeshire Fens to the River Lot in France, and I managed to get 2 bream. My dad managed to have a couple of bream as well, so you know, no river seems to be free of them, but you can't really complain. I tell you what, although they're bream, you wouldn't believe the run they were giving. You know, they were really pulling, you know, really pulling line off the spool. The bobbin was shooting right up and the rod was pulling forward. Nuts, you know, they're bream, they're not carp. But yeah, so it's just, I think when you're holiday fishing, any fish is welcome, because you know, you're doing it a bit out on a limb, you don't really know what you're doing. You're in a new place, in a foreign country, and you're not doing it seriously.
you know, haven't got your tackle with you, etc, etc. So any fish you get is a real bonus. But these fish have been on these boilies really quickly. On one rod I've got 2 18mm boilies for the cats, and the other rod I've got just 2 15mm boilies. I'm not sure that little bit of size make any difference, because I caught bream on 3 18mm last night. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be coming down the river but every day of the holiday, you know, for 7 days, because we're not here very long. And I'm going to come down early morning and evening, as I said, every day. Maybe afternoon, but mainly early morning and evening. So if you're watching this video and all of a sudden it jumps to me tomorrow evening, you know, that's because I'm not doing very long sessions, but because I'm going from session to session. I'm going to try and make one video out of each week as well. So there'll be one video for this river lot, and hopefully a video for next week, the river drum. So I've taken a conscious decision now to mainly try and target the catfish this week. Simply because next week there aren't any catfish. So it's probably best to try and target something that we've got this week that we haven't got next week. But you know, I'll be happy to pick up any barbel and carp and things like that along the way. But it's a beautiful village where I'm staying. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later. But what a stunning, stunning place. And look at the fish. Brilliant. Anyway, see if we can try and get one more. Well, there we go. It's probably been about 2 hours since my last fish. The sun's well up now. I decided to actually put a rod right out in the middle on the edge of the flow. Didn't think there'd be any fish there, but this rod's gone off. That's another little prime barbel. So there we go. What a lovely, lovely little barbel. Making, again, like the one yesterday, some really odd little noises, but look at that, little bristling fit barbel. What a beaut. Fought really well on the rod again. On those heavy rods, he's fighting really well actually. Imagine getting one of these on the float rod. Nuts. Again, only about £3, but a lovely, lovely looking fish. Look at that, just absolutely bristling. Right, let's put this fish back. Well, there we go, would you look at that. My first river lock carp, and it's double header. Not quite the monster I'm after, but here's the first one I caught. Got to be one of the smallest carp. But here's the first, not quite the monster I'm after, but here's the first one I caught. There you go, what is he? Not even a pound, is he, that one? Would you believe that took 2 18mm boilies and a size 4 hook? That's ridiculous, isn't it? Lovely little fish though, let's put them back in a second. And here's the other one. While I was handling the little one, this one just roared off. Again, 2 18mm boilies, much better fish, but still not very big, is it? But you know what? It's a river carp, that's what counts. Lovely little river lock carp. Brilliant stuff. Right, let's just see if we can land something a bit more like 40 times bigger, hey? Oh well, nice enough fish. Well, it's still the same day. I just finished my session up early this morning. I've come back for an evening session really after the catfish, but I've also got a rod out of 1 15mm boilie on Odyssey again, and just tore off with a lovely looking river lock barbel. Again, about the same size as the rest, and about £2 or £3, but what a lovely, lovely looking fish. Real prime fit fish again. What a cracker. Such a beautiful fish. Right, let's put this one back. Well, I've moved back to the other spot. The 2 spots I've just been fishing have been completely unproductive. So I've moved back to the spot I've just been pre-baiting for the last week. Been fishing for the last week really. weather's clearing up now. There's been a lot of rain, been sitting through some real heavy rainstorms and showers. So it's all dripping around me. It's by my coat, and I'm under the tree rather than sitting by the rods, which I can just see in front of me. Now I cast out both rods. I wasn't really getting anything. I had a missed run on the right hand rod, which must have been a barbel or a broom run, just a bit bitty, you know, the bobbin going up and down, and a little bit of line being taken off the clutch. So I thought, right, I reeled in my boilie rock. I got one on boiling, one on a big, you know, a long hair of corn. So I reeled in a boilie rod, a bag on it, a big old solid PVA bag, cast out the big old splash, you know, when you cast in a solid bag. It must have been about a minute, 2 minutes, you know, put down the rod rest, clipped on the bobbin, turned on the alarm, or adjusted the alarm, sorry, and I just seen the bubbles coming up from where the bag had hit the bottom. Literally turned around, walking back to the spot I'm at now, and the rod absolutely roared off. Bobbin shot to the top, the rod was lurched forward, you know, line going 100 miles an hour, peeling off, nuts run, you know, haven't had a run like that in years. Really going, I thought, yes I'm in. Hit it, big old, you know, hit it, and I just felt hit it, and the rod just bent straight round, really big fish on, and hook pull. I've waited all week for that fish. All week I've waited, and then the hook pulls. That always seems to happen, you know. You get to the last day or last couple of days of the holiday, and you're waiting for that big fish. You're waiting, you know, and it never comes until the very last hour or the very last day. And then 9 times out of 10, hook pull. On my first trench hole, that's exactly what happened. I did bag one in the end, very last minute, but it's just devastating. You're putting all that effort, all that bait, all that, you know, thought, time. I've been getting up at 4 in the morning, every morning for this week. I've been going to bed at about 12 o'clock. I've been up every night fishing. And for that to happen. There you go, that is fishing though, isn't it? But you know, it doesn't really make up for it. And then to add insult, the right hand rod went off after I lost that fish, and there's a bream about that big. But there you go. I don't know whether it was a carp or a catfish. I'd like to say it's a carp, but it could have been a cat. You know, the reason why I say it's a cat is because the bag made a really big splash when it went in. I think because the bag hadn't melted when I put it in, there was still residue on the line. So I think it must have just heard the splash and just grabbed it, rather than, you know, going for the bait or whatever. But it could have been a carp because it had melted by and I seen the bubbles coming up. But I think, you know, I think the rigs are perfect because it wouldn't run off like that. I just think probably the bag hadn't completely melted and the fish just didn't get the hook properly in its mouth. But either way, it's a big fish. And when I said earlier that there are, you know, 60 plus carp in here, I wasn't lying. In this stretch, I know they get at least nearly to that size, if not at that size. So I know that big catfish have been caught out of this spot, you know, 80 pound plus. So it could have been anything, whatever it was very big, and I'm absolutely gutted that I lost it. But at least it shows I've been doing something right. Because in some ways, you know, if I hadn't had that at all, I'd be feeling more disheartened. Because, you know, you think, well, were my rigs not right? Were my tactics not right? At least it shows me that something was right. Just yeah, managed to lose it. Well, you all know what that feels like. It happens to every single fisherman out there, unless you're some kind of amazing fisherman who never loses fish. If you are, I'd love to meet you and ask you how you do it. But, you know, it happens to all of us, and it generally seems to happen at the worst possible time. Oh well, got another hour left of this session at least. Let's see if we can get one, hey? Even a barbel. I'd love a barbel right now. Well, it's just coming to evening now, and I've just moved back into my normal spot just to see the nighting again, like I do most nights of the week. Slight change in tactics, although I know I haven't shown you my actual tactics for the evenings yet, just simply because I haven't felt they've been worth filming in the evenings, because all I've been having really is I've had the odd small barbel. When I say odd, I mean odd, there hasn't been many of them, and mainly bream, and the bream seem to follow me all the way from Cambridgeshire on the river. So I don't think, you know, from the amount you've seen from then, I don't think you really want to see these, but they fight very well, these bream. I have to excuse all the noise going on. There's a live band playing up at the bar in the village, and obviously the bells going off in the church, but there you go. Quite a nice atmosphere really though. Slight change though, like I said, in tactics. Got the left hand rod and boilie again. Same sort of thing I was using when I lost a big fish today. Changed the rig round, I wasn't quite happy with the rig. Changed it around so I know it's going to get a good hook hold. Using a very similar rig to what I use on the Syndicate. You know, just a mugger hook and a little rum ring going off to the bait. Sort of half an inch hair, you know, half an inch gap between the hook and the bait on the hair. 15mm boilie, single Odyssey, just chucked out there in the PVA bag, full of the oily stick mix again, which is what I filled the bag with before when I caught, when I lost that big fish earlier. Anyway, so that's normal on the left hand rod. Right hand rod, because I'm still trying to go for catfish, still fingers crossed after that cat. Don't really care how big it is, just a catfish. I love any size catfish. And I've just got that one on 2 worms. I've heard worms work really well in here, and you wouldn't believe it. I'm watching the rod tip now. I'm not getting any bleeps or indications or any bites or any alarms, but I'm watching the rod tip and it's just doing that all the time. I'm sure it's just little fish just plucking away at the worms by pulling them off the hook. I've been told that's a big danger of using worms here, but you sort of know that anyway when you're using worms. But I'm just hoping if I keep at it. I've only got 10 worms, they're quite expensive at the supermarkets. Now, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but that bird calling there, now that's actually a young peregrine falcon trying to pester its mum for food, and I've been trying to film them all week for you, but they're just so fast and they don't come through that often, mainly evening and morning when they're there, and obviously the light levels are so low it's hard to get good focus, good camera shot on them, but they're coming through. Really wanted to film them for you. The first time I've seen a peregrine, for definite. It's a real shame as well, but oh well, you know, a lot of the wildlife here has been superb, but I've been unable to film it for you simply because of the distance they are, things like, you know, limited zoom, stuff like that. Like, for example, just opposite me now, I can't really see it now because the light's fading, but there's a night heron on the far bank, which first time I've seen those really, which no, I had seen them in Spain, but let's not talk about that. But yeah, beautiful bird. They're like about the size of a grey heron, but they have a lot shorter neck, so like a bittern, but obviously they're white. They've got a black or a dark blue sort of back to them and back of the head, and a black beak. Real beautiful bird, as well as a purple heron that also here, and the normal grey heron. But yeah, sorry, go back to the fishing. I'm getting distracted now by the wildlife. Go back to the fishing. I've got the right hand one on worms. Stop tapping now, so I think they've probably taken the worms off. I can probably see it being a pain all night actually, but I have been chucking a lot of sardine in here over the last few days. Well, I've been told by some people that dead bait just won't work for the catfish in here. They just won't work, which I'm a bit dubious of, because I think if a cat's coming along and it sees a oily dead fish on the bottom, it's just going to take it. But there you go, they're different fish to what we have at home really. So I'm going to stick at it with the worms, put it until I run out, or until I just get tired of the worms being pulled off the hook. I probably won't be able to talk to the camera that much more, because as you can tell, although this camera's good at picking up light, the light is really fading now. So either the next shot you see will be me with a fishing very happy, or tomorrow morning when I come back down, if it's not too rainy, to sit out, because obviously it's just holiday fishing. I haven't got a lot of gear, I haven't got my umbrella and stuff, so if you're sitting out in the rain, you have to be sitting out, you know, with a with the mac on, you know, the rain jacket on. This isn't always ideal when it's really heavy like it has been here. But oh well, they do say overcast is better for fishing, and I would normally agree with them, but I do like to have a bit of sun when I'm in France. Oh well, right, let's see if we can catch one, eh? Well, it's morning now, and it's taken quite a while, but I've eventually been rewarded by some fish. Again, they're barbel, but it's my first proper double header other than the carp of the week. And 2 stunning barbel. I'll just show you the smallest one first. Both taken on one of the CC Moore Odyssey XXX boilies. There's the first one, like all the others I've had. Absolute stunner there. What a beautiful looking fish. Right, put this one down, get the other one up. A little bit bigger this one.
not a lot bigger. Oh, let it fry a little bit. I've got a mat underneath me, so don't worry. Here's the other one. Like I said, a little bit bigger. Not a lot bigger, probably about 3 or 4 pounds. This one. Nice enough fish. Right, let's put them back. Right, that's about all the footage we've got of the lot and of my fishing of the holiday. So I hope you've enjoyed it. But just to let you know, if you're interested in having a holiday like that, either going after the carp, which I'm sure you'd better get out there if you really pushed hard and didn't mess about, quite frankly, like I did. But also the barbel fishing is second to none. You know, the amount of barbel you can get out there if you really tried. I wasn't after the barbel, so the amount I got was, well, the amount I got really was, didn't really do it justice, although I had a lot more than what you saw, obviously, because my other card had been lost. And also, there's only a certain amount of barbel you can really sit there, isn't there? So I didn't put all of them on tape for that reason, really. But yeah, sort of quick film of the place that we were staying. It's literally about a 2-minute walk from the river, no time at all. Little local bar in the village that we're staying. It's quite a while ago now, so I can't actually remember the village name. But what I have done for you, I've put a link in the description below. So if you want to have a look, if you're curious about finding out where it is, or you know, if you want a holiday like this, I couldn't recommend it more. The place we're staying had a lovely swimming pool which you could use, glorious views, beautiful surrounding, quaint and quiet, but also close enough to Kahora and things, so you can get into the town if that's the sort of stuff you want. Also the bird life, again, second to none. I saw golden oriole while I was there, so if you're a birder like me, you'll know exactly what that means. That's a really nice bird to see. Black kite, peregrine, we've got the red kite around there as well. I think they possibly get eagles there at some time, but there's such a variety there, and it's just such a nice wild habitat to fish in. Also, I thought I'd chuck this in while I remember. I spent a day out there lure fishing with a local bloke, but my age he was, and he took me out. We took me out in a canoe. Just bear in mind, he barely speaks any English, so it's quite an interesting trip, and it was incredible. The sort of fishing you can do around there. I don't know if you've ever seen the TV programme. It was on when I was a kid. Rex Hunt Goes Fishing, and honestly, the lure fishing was like that. Obviously, it didn't have barramundi and stuff because we're in France, but it's using light bait caster and stuff, and just casting into the snags as we're drifting along in the canoe, and you'll see these perch, black bass, chub charging out the snags, grabbing the lure. Incredible fishing. It was just brilliant. And yeah, just something else just to watch. I mean, I went fishing. Obviously, I didn't have the suitable gear. I had my carbons and stuff, and I was chucking out lures like that, which just weren't right for the fish. I had a few follows and stuff, but you know, the fish were too small. But it's really good and really good fun to know that sort of fishing is available to you there. But yeah, if you're after a good holiday, you know, for good fishing, I could really highly recommend it. And as I said, it's a really nice house we're staying in. Lovely old French place. Nicely done up though, you know, all the stuff that you need. The family who own the house and who live next door to you are really nice. They'll put you in the right direction, not only with the fishing, but with food, stuff like that. They can't do enough to help you, and I can highly recommend it. I mean, we'll probably be back there soon, so, you know, it's just such an untapped area for the fishing as well. The fish are just nuts, you know, the amount of barbels and stuff there. You got to go to appreciate it, really. But there you go, if you're looking for a place, especially take the family with you, I couldn't recommend a better place on the lot. So like I said, links in the description below. Sorry I can't remember the name of the actual place we were staying, but like I said, it's a few months ago now. I hope this video sort of, well, I hope this introduction, the end bit of this video has cleared up what the video is about for you. But like I said, I was looking through the footage and I thought, you know, is this worth uploading? These fish are nice, there's some nice shots of it, stuff like that. So hopefully the rig bits and things I took you through earlier, that helped you out. Like I said, if not, please look back at some of my older videos, because all I was doing is using exactly the same stuff as I was for my carp fishing. So hopefully that'll do it for you. But anyway, thank you for watching, and hopefully next time you see me, rather than introducing it inside a house like I have been the last few times, you actually see me out on the bank or out on the coast fishing. Anyway, like I said, see you next time, and tight lines.